Hello everyone, Tasty Waffle here. I'd like to start out by apologizing. On my review of Kurosawa's fourth film, The Men Who Tread on the Tiger's Tail, I erroneously stated that the conventions of the film were borrowed from kabuki theater. That is actually false. The conventions of acting, singing, movement, and the use of music are drawn from Japanese no theater, which is a different art form entirely. So with that out of the way, I will now review Kurosawa's seventh film, Drunken Angel, released in 1948. So let's begin with the plot. The plot here is very straightforward. This is the chronicle of a relationship between a down-on-his-luck Yakuza and a cantankerous drunken doctor. The Yakuza has tuberculosis and therefore needs the doctor's care. But the doctor, being someone lacking bedside manner, is difficult to get along with. This film is about their relationship, and I have to say, this is one of the best on-screen relationships I have ever seen. The doctor is played by the ever-reliable Takashi Shimura, and the Yakuza is played by newcomer Toshiro Mifune, who would go on to become the most famous actor in Japanese history. This was his debut performance, and he exploded onto the screen with this film. It is truly amazing. Plot-wise, it's about their relationship. The Yakuza has tuberculosis, but is very stubborn, and at first is unwilling to accept the doctor's help, and doesn't even believe the doctor when he gives him the diagnosis. There's another plot thread. The nurse who works for the doctor, her boyfriend, is yet another Yakuza, who's been locked up in jail, named Okada. He finally gets out of jail, and he comes back to cause trouble. So the plot here is really solid. I have to give it a 5 out of 5. Let's look at the characters. Like I said, Takashi Shimura and Toshiro Mifune are fantastic here. They really work so well together, and they would be in many, many films together. Takashi Shimura appeared in a total of 21 of Kurosawa's films, and Toshiro Mifune appeared in 16 of Kurosawa's films. Those two characters are fantastic. Okada is really well played too. He's just so... when he shows up, he just has such a screen presence. He's really a guy you don't want to mess with. The only characters that I have any trouble with are the female characters. Kurosawa, one of his problems was he was never able to create very interesting female characters. And so the nurse, who's Okada's girlfriend, is kind of not really that interesting and only there to be his girlfriend. And she wants nothing to do with him. But that's really all there is to her. But otherwise, the three characters that are great here, the doctor, the Yakuza, and Okada, are such great characters. I have to give the characters 5 out of 5. Let's look at the script. The script here is really well written. This is such a well-paced film. It uses the time very wisely, and that's of course a result of the script, the editing, the direction. Also, the characters are mostly pretty interesting, other than the female characters. So everyone is well written, and the story is very well told. So I have to give the script a 5 out of 5. Let's move on to the depth. Now, this isn't a movie that causes a lot of deep thinking, but what I look for in a movie like this is how well do we get to understand and know these characters. And I have to say, we really get to know them very well. We see the layers to their characters. We see that they're all, not just all one way or another. We see that the doctor, despite being cantankerous and grumpy, cares deeply for his patients and cares about the Yakuza who's come into his care. The Yakuza, on the other hand, starts out as just kind of a mean, unlikable guy, but we really see he needs the doctor, and he knows he needs him. And Okada isn't just a plain villain. here we see that he is a complex character as well. We really get to understand them, and that's really great. So I have to give the depth a 5 out of 5. Let's look at the music. As always, Kurosawa knew how to use music really well. He uses bits of original compositions, he uses bits of classical music, and he also uses some great 40s jazz, which is actually really, really well used. This film is a contemporary film in that it takes place when the movie was made. So it's post-war Japan, but the music really has that great 40s feel, and it really brings the film to life. So I'm sure it's no surprise I have to give the music a 5 out of 5. And last, let's look at the spectacle. Yet again, Kurosawa is a genius with the movement. Now, I've talked a lot about how Kurosawa is the master of movement, and I think I should try to illustrate this. I would refer you to a video by a fellow who runs a YouTube site called Every Frame a Painting. He did a video on Kurosawa, how Kurosawa is the master of movement. The video is entitled Kurosawa, Composing Movement. I would refer you to that video to really get in depth on why Kurosawa was the master of movement. And yet again, he does it with such skill here. So I have to give the spectacle 5 out of 5. Well, last week when I said that I was going to review this film, I called it a masterpiece. And that's what I'm calling it. This film gets a 30 out of 30. It is excellent. I'd highly recommend it. Toshiro Mifune explodes onto the screen in his first big role in the movie. And Takashi Shimura is as reliable as ever. This is a great film. The second masterpiece, I feel, on Kurosawa's list of accomplishments. So that's my review of Drunken Angel. Well, tune in next time for my review of The Quiet Duel. Thanks for watching. Bye.